Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You are in the right place. This isn't some random wildlife channel, but I'm currently sat in the Cotswold Wildlife Park, and this is a race video. This is actually the Cotswold 113 event, 70.3, whatever you want to call it. So I've just left the wildlife park. I'm heading over to the race venue to actually do my registration today, because it's just going to save me a little bit of time in the morning and a little bit of stress. So I thought I might as well. There's a window, 2-hour window to get it done. So I've left the family there. I'm going to meet them back at the hotel that we're staying in and get this done. So I'm standing here with a fellow TTT member, Neil, who's also part of the same coaching group, with Phil.
That's right, yes.
So a big welcome, Neil, to the channel.
Thank you.
How are you feeling for the race?
Now we're here, I'm pretty excited actually. It's a stunning location, isn't it? And the lake
nice.
is beautiful.
The lake looks lovely and clear. Should be a good race. Hot one, I think. You've had an interesting journey, I think, getting here. Neil comes from the Isle of Man.
That's right, so it was a 2.5-hour ferry and a 3.5-hour drive down yesterday, so it's a long way. And then
it's dedication for you.
That's dedication, and because the family came along, we had to have a 2-hour round journey to go shopping today.
Family are over there, so, keeping out of the way.
Yeah,
keeping cool.
It's race time now, so it's time to get in the zone, isn't it?
Well, good luck for tomorrow, mate.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.
Right guys, it is now 10 to 10, you would have seen, yeah, I got all the registration stuff done earlier on over at the venue. Venue looks really nice actually, the lake looked lovely, so should be a nice swim in the morning, but I've got to get to bed because it is 9:45. I've got all my stuff ready, I've packed the car, set my alarm for probably about 3:30, which will give me enough time to eat, visit the toilet, you know, that kind of thing, and then get over for a race venue for about 4:30, 4:45, something like that. Give me a good hour or so to set up, and I want to get in the water beforehand to acclimatise. So next time you see me, it'll probably be in the morning. So guys, it is the next day, and I thought I'd give you my thoughts around the race. The Cotswold Classic was an A race for me. It was one in which I was targeting a race PB over that distance. Unfortunately, it didn't quite pan out the way I wanted it to, and if you're linked with my socials, you'll probably already know why. It wasn't the heat, it wasn't because of a lack of performance, none of that actually. In fact, I was quite happy with my performance, but something a little bit out of my control. I came out the swim in 32:55, which is a new PB swim time for me over that distance, so I was pretty happy with that. Good start to the race, got into transition, nice quick transition, and then out onto the bike. So I've learnt my lesson here with the bike, and I wasn't going to chase the course here because I knew it was pretty quick. I kept to my power targets, but I had two mechanicals on the bike, unfortunately, that I had to deal with, which happened from about 20 miles in. In fact, it was two potholes that caused the issue. The first caused a slight wobble to the wheel, or I suppose it knocked it out of true a little bit. And I really didn't understand what was going on at first, but I noticed that I was kind of bouncing a little bit and I could hear a doof, doof, doof sort of noise. I subsequently thought I'd punctured. I kept looking at my wheels, they were full of air. I didn't really understand what was going on initially. And it was only when I went about another 2 or 3 miles up the road and I managed to turn off the main road into another road and hit another pothole. Literally got up a mile up the road, and yeah, my front wheel went flat. So yeah, I had to change that flat, and I must say that in 9 years of doing triathlon, this is the first time I've ever had a flat in a race. It's bound to happen at some point, and it's just one of those things, unfortunately. It was only when changing the wheel that I noticed the slight ovalness to it. It wasn't quite round anyway. And I only had 2 canisters on me. I inflated it and I deflated it again just to try and push it in and that kind of thing, and then used my second canister to pump the wheel again. So I was out of canisters and I got going again, and I really didn't know what was going to happen. I think I got about 2 or 3 more miles up the road before I got to a marshal or a mechanic. Luckily someone else had a puncture as well. Flagged them down, managed to get a pump off them, and I just asked them to put as much air into the wheel as possible just to try and dampen the sort of rocking or the bouncing sensation, which actually to an extent kind of worked. So there was all kind of things going through my mind at this point, and the main one was about pulling out and DNFing. But I just said to myself, right, let's just keep going, try and get to the lap 2 point, which will be back at the race venue, and reevaluate then. And in these circumstances, you have 2 choices. 1, you either pull out, or 2, you keep going. And I'm glad that, I chose the latter of those, and I decided just to keep going. I got to that lap 2 point and push on, and the wheel hadn't got any worse. So I thought, well, what the heck, let's just try and keep going and see how far we get. And yeah, I managed to ride 38 miles with this wheel, nursing it a little bit. I probably didn't, I didn't go as hard as I could have done, and I was quite worried when we went through sort of rocky, bumpy patches and potholey bits on the road and that kind of thing. But I managed to get back to transition in one piece, and the wheel held out. In my head, I knew the PB attempt was gone, and that keeps playing on your mind. But like I said, you don't get to race that often throughout a year, and I like racing, so I chose to carry on. And like I said, I'm really glad that I did that in the end. It just showed a bit of resilience and something that I've never experienced in a race before. So yeah, I lost around 25 minutes with all of that, probably a little bit more time as well with obviously trying to nurse the bike around. But hey ho, these things happen. I got back to transition and was able to get to the run leg. So I got out onto the run with a target pace in mind of around 5 minutes a kilometre. The heat was going to play a part in the race yesterday, that's for sure. But actually, it didn't bother me, and I think it's because of training in France in the heat, and I felt acclimatized. It didn't really cause me too much of a problem. I pretty much kept to that pace throughout. I know I went through the first 11 or 12k bang on time, and then I think I had my first wobble around mile 9 and 10, where you could see on my splits, it just dropped back to like 9 minutes a mile pace. But you know what, I ran through it and managed to pick it up again. And I think overall I came in at 1:49, which was about 5:11 a kilometre. So overall, I was pleased at the run that I put together. That gave me a race time of around 5:37, which isn't great, and I know some people will be really happy with that, but for me, I was disappointed. If I take the mechanicals out of the equation, I would have come in around 5 hours 12 minutes, which would have absolutely smashed my previous PB of 5:30 by about 17 minutes. So what can you do? At the end of the day, I'm not too disappointed. I'm pleased at myself that I managed to carry on and get through that race. I know in my head and my heart, my fitness is there, the training is working, the coaching is working, all those things. There's a lot of positives I can take. I was just unfortunate on the day. The other great thing about the race is getting to share the course with some fantastic athletes, and a big mention goes out to the TT athletes. And seeing some of those guys race and how good they were, it's inspirational. Big shout out to Neil, his fantastic performance on the race day. I know he was really pleased with that. So yeah, really well done to everyone, especially the TTT athletes out there. Right guys, that is going to be the end of this video, and I'm not sure, if I'm honest, when I'm coming back. I know I've got one more race left in the season, which is the Vichy 70.3, and I promise I will bring you that race video. But usually at this part of the season, I'm about to finish up at work, go on my summer break, which usually means I take a break from the videos and the channel and that kind of thing as well. I don't know whether I'll bring anything in between. I do have a few ideas, but it's going to be down to whether I can be bothered to film it and capture it and put it all together, which, yeah, I don't want to raise hopes and that kind of thing. But if you don't see me from now for a few weeks, you know why, but I will be back at least, the very least, with the Ironman Vichy 70.3 video. So, you know, thanks for tuning in and all your support. If you're new around here, do hit the sub button, and I will see you all very, very soon, I promise.